Hi there everybody, it's Jan here. I've recently changed my name of my group. It was at Jan's Craft Stash UK, but the group is now called Jan's Cards and Crafts UK. So I did post the reasons why I changed it, but I'm actually also going to change the name of this video channel as well. So at the moment it's still called Jan's Craft Stash UK, but I'm going to change it to Jan's Cards and Crafts UK. Okay, so I like to do a monthly project, and this is the project for April, even though it's still March, because I hadn't realised that Easter this year is very early. It's on the 4th of April, so if I posted it at the start of April you wouldn't have time to make this ready for an Easter gift if you wanted to. So this is what we're going to be making. There will be kits available for these. This is one that I've made already, and let me just show you. It's an Easter basket with a twist. So firstly I'll just show you the top so that you can see kind of how it goes with the flowers and all sorts of things in here. And then I'm going to try and tip it up. Let me take out the chocolates. You don't have to put chocolate eggs in here. You could make this, you know, as any sort of gift. You could make it for somebody's birthday and just put, you know, something different in the top. Or you don't have to make it as a basket at all. But yeah, so I made it for Easter, so this is it. Now these embellishment pieces here are just my own. I'll try and include some of the flowers and these bits in the kits, but I don't have any more of these little sort of Easter eggs and that. You probably need to source those yourself. Right, okay, so this is the front. Let me just check that you can actually see it. I think you can. This is the front of it, and it's got little round pieces sort of in decorations that I've put on here. And the theme of this one, if you haven't guessed it already, is Peter Rabbit. It's absolutely beautiful. A lot of the papers I got from what's it called? Oh goodness me, I can't remember. I'll think of it by the end of the video and I'll show you. So this is the front. I mean, it could be anything. I've made little paper bows here. This is one of the sides. This is the back. And this is the other side. And as you can see, I've tried to make the top here like a little garden. So I've used grass cutouts, die cuts and flowers and little bits here that I've propped up, and little flowers and little images of Peter Rabbit and the rabbit family. And then so it's all very cute, but it's also got a hidden thing, and that is that despite it having, you know, sort of Easter eggs or chocolates or whatever you want to put in the top to give to somebody, it's also an exploding mini album. And again, I think this is unique. I haven't seen one like this that is also a gift box as well. And this, I have to say, is probably the easiest mini album that you're ever going to make. So let me just sort of show you through it. So first of all, as you can see, it opens out like that, like a normal mini album. And each of these sides has a little flap pocket, so you can put pictures here. You can put a journaling sheet or something on these here. That's exactly the same at the back. I hope you can see this, exactly the same at the front. The little punch top here makes a nice delicate edging, and I've carried that theme on through. Okay, so let's turn this over. So all the pages are going to be the same. So this is like these on this side, and I've just put a little extra picture on here, but you can certainly put a lovely little, you know, photo on there and do a little journaling spot or whatever you want to do. It's wide enough for you to put some flowers on for ephemera. Then we have this side here, which, you know, you can add flowers to, you can add whatever you want to. And then when we turn it over, this is a little pocket, and in here I've slipped some of these little tickets that I got from the download. This I got from the download as well. and then I've made a little picture mat. And so, you know, I've just stamped one of the images on here, so, and left the other side plain so that you can write on here, or you can add a picture, do whatever you want to do. This holds, I haven't actually counted up, but I think it holds about, well, in excess of 20 pictures anyway. Okay, so that's the first page. This is the second page. Again, as I say, they are the same. Every page is the same. This is the pocket. It has the little tickets. It has little journaling spots, and it has a little picture mat. But every one of the pages is exactly the same. It's just so cute, it really is. Anybody who likes Beatrix Potter and who likes Benjamin Bunny, this is, you know, so much the project for you to do. It's just so cute. The picture mats themselves are 4 by, not quite 4, I think they're 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, something like that. The actual pieces here are 4 inches. So you can put photos that you download from Instagram or anything on here, or simply crop your own pictures or your own photos. So again, as I say, they're all the same pockets. Flap on this side, pockets on this side. So you can go through like this. Some really beautiful images, lovely beautiful pictures. It's so cute, they really are. And this one here, and lastly this one here. I've made all of these the same. So this is the paper for one kit that's available. The one I'm going to be making today is a different paper, and I will obviously, I'll show you that as we're going. Hold on, let's pop that in there. Stay there, so I can do this with one hand. There we go. Let me just show you this. So I've built up the sides of the lid. The actual lid is here. And I've built up the sides so that I can make it hold, you know, the things that I want it to, and make it look like a little garden. Right, so let me just put this back together. And as I say, this is going to be one of the easiest little exploding boxes that you've ever made. Everything, there's a lot of cutting to do, but it's all pretty much the same size. It's, hold on, let me pop that on. There we go. So that's the finished article. That's what we're going to be making today. Right, let's pop that out of the way. A lot of this one I have prepared in advance. Some of the paper, this is the paper pad, and you make this from one 6-inch paper pad and one sheet of just plain cardstock or other cardstock. So I'm using this paper pad. It's so cute with the little birds and things on it. It really is so cute, so pretty. Oh, little birds. Anyway, that's just a brief flick through. So that's the paper that I'm going to be using today. And I have kits of this paper as well. Right, okay, so let's get on with the tutorial. Now, I will have posted the pieces that you need to cut out and what to do with them, but I'll just talk you through them briefly at the moment. So, this is imperial measurement, inches, and this is metric, okay? So I'm just going to put this out of the way for the moment because they're exactly the same instructions, but just this one's in metric. So I'll talk in the inches one at the moment, but you'll see both of them. So basically you want 4 inches by 12 inches piece of cardstock. Hold on, let me get it. And you need 2 of these. 1, 2, and you need to have scored them at 4 inches and at 8 inches, both the same exactly. Okay, then you can no, let's not burnish it just at the moment. Let's do that as we go. You're going to need a 6 1/8 square of cardstock, which is this one. Hold on, I'm trying not to knock all the Easter eggs all over the floor. And you're going to score it at 1 inch on all 4 sides. Turn it round, turn it round, turn it round. Okay, so don't burnish that one either yet, just leave it as it is. You're going to need 4.5 by 4 inches pieces, and you're going to cut 7 of those, and you're going to score down the side. Let me try to find the one that I've, hold on a second, we'll be with you. 4.5 by, put that out of the way, 4.5 by 4, and you score down the 4.5 side, so that basically once you've folded that under and burnished it, you end up with a 4 by 4 square. Okay, and you're going to want 7 of those, and then you're going to want a 4 by 8.5, and this one here you're going to score it at 4, then turn it around on your scoreboard and score it at 4 again, because this bit here is just kind of not quite 1/2 inch because of the size of the score lines. Okay, so that one you can fold up and burnish, and you need to fold these up and burnish them as well. So let me just get this one done. You only need 1 of these pieces. Okay, so I'm just going to fold that under as well and burnish that well. Make sure your sides line up, obviously you want them to be nice and neat. Right, okay, now I've made all of those out of that 300 gram cardstock, which is pretty thick actually. It's pretty, you know, it's about, no, 160, 180 pounds, something like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't have it on the pack, so I can't say it. All I know is that it's 300 gram. Okay, then I've changed down to 160 gram, I think it is, or 120 gram minimum really, and you're going to want 4.5 by 2 3/4. You're going to want to cut 9 of those, and you need to score at 1/4 inch along the short ends. Let me see if I can find the one that I've done. So that's this size. You're going to want to punch a design along the top, and you're going to want to score 1/4 inch down both sides, and you fold them under and burnish them well. Now, when we come down to the DSP, I've given you the DSP measurements for the piece that I made, because I've given you the overall piece, which is 2 3/4. That's 2 3/4 this way. Hold on, 2 3/4 this way, but my punch is 1 1/4, so that gives me 1.5 inches that I need to cover with DSP. If you have a smaller punch that you're going to use, then you'll need to just remeasure the size of this. So supposing you have a 1/2 inch punch, you're going to want DSP that is 2 3/4 as opposed to mine, which is 1.5. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Right, so you're going to want 9 of these. Okay, then you want a 3 7/8 inch square, and you are going to you need 13 of these, and the 3 7/8 goes this way. That's the 3 it's 3 7/8 on both each way. So one way, on one side, it doesn't matter which side because it's a square piece of cardstock. You use your punch along it, and that opposite that you score at 1/2 inch. Fold it under and burnish it. Okay, so that's that piece, and you are going to want 13 of those. Now don't kind of balk at this because it seems a lot. It's like, oh my goodness, how many pieces of cardstock. They can very easily be cut sort of all in one go, and they're cut out of just 1 or 2 sheets of cardstock because they're quite small. You're also going to need these, which are your picture mats. That's 3.5 by 3 3/4. And I've put arrows on here showing the 3 3/4 goes this way and the 3.5 goes this way when you put it in your book. And I've chosen not to cover mine. You can cover yours if you want to, but I just put a little stamp on mine and I've rounded the corners. And that also reminds me that that's the photo mat, because everything here is pretty much the same size. And you're going to want 9 of those. Now, in terms of your DSP, you're going to want 3 7/8 square, and you are going to need 17 pieces. Now, like I said, I've actually got all of this out of one 6-inch pad, and I had a page, I think it was a page, but quite a lot of scraps left over. So you can easily do it. So you want 17 of these that are 3 7/8 square, and 1 extra for the lid. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because my paper pad has pictures on every page. But what I did here was I used a plain green. I don't know if you can see this, but I put a plain green paper just from my stash inside there because I wanted this to look a bit grassy. If you're, you know, you could use anything. You can actually get it out of the paper pad as well, but, you know, if you want it to look like grass, then obviously you want a sort of a green piece of paper in there. Right, okay, so you're going to want 17 and 1 for the lid, so a total of 18, okay? You're going to want some pieces that are cut to 3 3/4 by 2.5, and you're going to want 26 of those for the flaps. And these pieces, when you cut out your 3 7/8 square, you've got all these pieces left over, and that's where you get all the other little bits and pieces from, okay? So 3 3/4 by 2.5, you want 26 of those, and that's for your flap pockets. You're going to want 3 7/8 by 1.5 inches, and you want 9 of those. They're for your pockets. And this is where I used my I used a toning cardstock, and in this case I've used a beautiful honey colour to go with the paper. And you need 3 7/8 by 2 3/4, and you need 9 of those for the tops of the pockets. You need 4 1/4 by 7/8, and you need 4 pieces of that for the lid. Or you can do what I did, and that is I cut, let me see if I can find it here because we're going to be using it. No, I can't see it just at the moment, but I actually cut 6-inch, I cut right across the page in strips so that I could, so it's slightly longer than the lid. Let me show you on this one here. It's slightly wider than the lid, so that I could stick it on here, bend it round the corner, and then stick the next piece on, bend it round the corner, and so on. And that helps to keep these pieces together. So you can either cut 4 strips like this that will just stick on, or you can cut it in several strips. I think it's 3 strips you need of 6 inches, and it will go all the way round. Okay, but we'll be coming to that in a bit. You need 11 by 1 inch for a handle. So you need, for the handle, for the actual handle cut out in cardstock, and I've used the 300 gram, you need 11 inches by 1 1/4 inches, but you only need 1 of those because that's for the handle that goes on the top of the box. And then you need DSP, or what I'm going to use, I mean, I use DSP on this one because this is a printout sheets, and I could print them out at 11.5. I could print them out at A4 size, so I could just cut it up. But this paper that I'm using is only 6 inches, and I don't really want to join in the middle, so I'm going to use ribbon. So I'm going to have my handle like this, and then I'm going to put a piece of ribbon, and then I'm going to tie bows, whereas here I made paper bows. So I'm going to tie bows for this one. You can, if you want to, if you have a punch that's strong enough or you want to die cut it, you can kind of make a lacy edge along the two sides. Obviously you could also stick lace on it if you want to, but I'm keeping mine plain. Right, so I've put on here 11 by 1 inch. Is for the handle, or else you can, it's optional, or you can use ribbon, which is what I'm going to be using. Now for the picture mats, they are 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. You want 9 of those. You want your own tags and some embellishments, and that is about it. Okay, so that's these two. As I say, this one here is in metric and this one here is in imperial, but I'm also going to post a photo of this as well so that you can pick up on it a bit easier. Right, okay, so let's start by making the album. Like I say, it's extremely simple. Let's move these pieces out of the way. The first thing you're going to do is take your two pieces that are 4 by 12 and that you've scored at 4 and 8, and we're going to cross them over in the middle. Simple as that, and we're going to stick them down. Probably throughout this I will use wet glue, but you can use tape, wet glue, whatever you want. I just wouldn't use tape runner if I were you. It's not really strong enough, not really sturdy enough when it comes to making albums. So let's get this stuck down. Hopefully this won't be too long a video for you, because as I say, I've done, because it's so much the same, I've done most of the prep already. Completed most of the album already. So we just want some glue on there. Okay, and I'm going to carefully line this up so that it matches. Make sure that I don't go over those score lines. Make sure it's nice and square. There we go, and then I'm going to turn this over. Oops, get rid of that little bit of glue, and I'm going to burnish, fold up and burnish these pieces here, making sure that the edges are straight here and that they're straight here and here. I burnish them really well, actually. There's one. Here's number 2. Make sure it's nice and straight. Burnish it. Nice and straight. And the last one. Okay, now we can stick our flaps onto these before we do anything else. So we get these flap pieces that we've cut, and we have, what is it, loads of these, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 13 of them, something like that. Let me just double check my little crib sheet. The flaps, 13 of them, yep, if I put that there. And what we're going to do is just very simply, we're going to glue the back here, glue the outside of this flap, and we're going to very carefully line it up with the outside edge of our page. You'll see that there's a tiny, tiny little gap either side, so just centre it up. And the reason for that is because it enables the box to close. And we're just going to burnish that down. And we're going to do that on all of these sides. Okay? Then we are going to, hold on, then we're going to assemble the rest of the flaps. Okay, so you will have one of these on all 4 sides. So we can turn this over now, and we can start to stick down our 4-inch pieces that are going to form the outside of the box. Now, if you put the box upright like this, which is how it's going to be, you obviously want your pictures to go from this end down towards the centre, okay, so that they sit like that all the way round. Don't put them, so when you turn it over, make sure that they all face into the centre, into the middle like that. So the first one, let me just do this first one. Oops, just coming to the end of that bottle of glue. I hope it lasts. Right, so I'm going to stick this on the outside. Oh, let me do this flap one so it shows you. So basically your flap will be at the top here on each of these pages, and you stick this down on here. Don't stick it over your fold joint at the bottom, and do try to sort of centre it up. You'll find there's a tiny little gap around the outside. Okay, so that's number one. Then turn it round and sort of stick the next one down, which I'm going to use this one. Again, you can use tape here. You could probably use tape runner on these things because they're not going to take any weight or anything. Just don't use tape runner on the centerpiece that we're going to do in a moment. So again, we just line it up. Don't forget there will be a flap on here. Flap on here. The reason I'm not sticking the flaps down at the moment is because I've got them all prepared and I want to show you how to do them first. Turn it round, stick another one on, quite like this one over here. So I like some, let's see what ones I've got cut. Oh, that's a pretty one. Let's have that one. That's so cute. Because I've cut the ones for the inside as well. So I'm going to have that one and this one. This paper is so beautiful. It's got little birds and blossoms on pretty much every page. I think there's only a couple of pages that don't have birds on them, but they've certainly got blossoms on them. And they'd make fantastic, you know, if you wanted to cut them apart. There we go. Hold on, let's turn that over. Right. Here we go. There we are, that's lined up. We don't need one for the base, we're not covering the base. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside for a moment because I want to show you how to do the bits in the middle. I want to show you how to do these bits first before I actually continue to show you how to do this bit, because it's pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. So I've got the majority of mine done. Let's move this out of the way. So the flaps, this is one completed page and it's going to be exactly the same for what you do on here. So this is the equivalent to this, and this flap is the equivalent to this. Okay, so you need those squares that were 4 by 4.5, and you've sort of folded it under. You've folded it under and burnished it, and you want to stick the flap bit here down to the square first before you do anything else. So let me just get mine, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So that's my one. No, it isn't. That is my one that I'm going to do. So I'm going to want the the score piece to this right hand side, okay, and I'm going to find my flap piece which has been scored. There's all those ones, that's the pocket. Where's my flap that's been scored? Please tell me I've got one. Please tell me I've left one that hasn't been done. That's the pocket. Oh right, okay, I'll tell you why. When you've got your flap pieces like this, let's show you on a better colour on this one. Your prep work before you do anything is you can stick these two pieces down. So the pieces that you've cut out, you can stick down front and back. Okay, make sure that you don't go right up to the score line, but nothing else needs to be done to these, so you can stick those down ready. Right, so you take your page with your score line and your fold to the right, then you glue this piece here, pretty much as I just showed you on this outer one here, and you glue the inside. That's it, not too much. You glue the inside where the flap comes up, and then you have your flap coming up here, and you butt this right up to the score line, but don't go over the score line. You need this to be a flap. Now you'll see also that on here, like I just mentioned previously, that you've actually got tiny little gap either side. The reason for that is so that it opens properly without catching on each other. The first one of these I made it the same size, like I made it the same width, and every time I opened the box or closed the box, they all kept catching on each other because of this. So I've cut it down tiny little bit, and that's the reason for that. So now you have that on that side. Okay, so you need to find your one of your pieces of cardstock of DSP that you've cut to size. I think I'll probably use this one, and you just basically glue it on and cover up this join here. Sorry, no you don't. You glue it on the inside where there's no join, because the outside is a pocket. Sorry about that. So we're going to just glue this on. You might be able to hear my little dog snoring. He's in the craft room here with me. He likes to be right by my side all the time, and he's sitting on the floor at the moment and having a nice sleep after having had a good run. Right, okay, make sure you have it up the right way. So you have your die cut edge here, you have your flap pointing upwards here, and then you add this facing upwards here. Make sure you don't go over these edges here. You don't want anything to interfere with how it opens and closes. Okay, so that's on that side. Then you turn it over, okay, and on this side, the one that has the overlap piece here, the outside, you stick first of all your piece of you know, cardstock that you've cut from another colour or another, you know, or another type of card, another piece of DSP. I like a plain colour, and the reason I'm using a plain colour is because for the most part, you won't actually see it. It's covered with photo mat, so you'll only see the outside edges anyway, and otherwise it's a bit of a waste. Oops, gosh. Right, so that goes on there. right up to, but not over the score line. Everything wants to stick down the second it grabs at the moment. It's pretty warm in here at the moment. Right, so you just have to manipulate it into place. There we go. Whoops. There we go. Good job I did a lot of this earlier, because like I say, this is just wanting to grab the paper. It's almost like sucking it up. Right, then you want your pocket piece with the pieces folded under, and you find your pocket topper, which is, for me, it's this one. And I'm going to stick this down on here. Don't forget, this is, if you're using the same size punch as me, I've given you the sizes for this, but you may need to adjust this slightly once you've punched the top of your pockets, because I don't know how deep the punch is that you're going to be using. Right, so you stick that down fairly close to the bottom, not over your score lines, obviously. There we go. Like that. And this is your little pocket. And then we're going to simply glue the bottom, very thin line along the bottom. Let's hope you can see that. Hold those two pieces over for a moment, just so that they grab at the bottom. And then glue the two sides, including the die cut bit. Two sides and the die cut bit and the punched bit, and then you're going to place this on the other end. So here it will butt right up to the fold, don't go over the fold obviously, and it will go to both edges very neatly like that. And you just hold it down for a second or so. Right, now that's basically it for each of your pages. They're all going to be the same, and there are 7 of these. Okay, so that's like that. That is we're going to attach that to here like this. Okay, so then we can do the inside of this piece. Right, now then, let's do this. Let's find these edges. These are the edges. As I say, it's only complicated because I've already done quite a lot. So this one here, these are the equivalent pieces. So I'm just going to add these. So this will go on here. Don't forget, on this one here, on these ones here, we don't glue the inside flap, we glue the outside here, because otherwise it will come on the outside of the box and you don't want that at all. And had we glued it to the outside of the box, it would make it too thick, so the closure wouldn't, you know, the lid wouldn't close. So we just take this right up to the edge as close as we can get it. Make sure it's lined up and straight. There and there. And just press that down. And we turn the box around and we do the same again. You can definitely hear my little dog there. He sounded like a little pig doing his snort. Okay, so this is the third one I'm doing. Don't forget there'll be a little gap either side. Just make sure that you line it up straight. Hope you can see this and that it's in frame. Press this down. This is the last one. Very, very quick and simple this is. Once you've got everything cut out, it shouldn't take you more than probably an hour, I shouldn't think, to make the whole box. And it's just a lovely little gift. And like I say, you could do it for a birthday. I just happened to have said that it's for Easter, but you could do it for a birthday. and put something else on the top, just chocolates or something. Right, okay, so now I need my pieces that are going to go on the inside. Here, 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 and I need my 2 pieces that are going on the outside of this one because these ones are already stuck on. So let me get those stuck on first. So let's have this piece. I personally, I would have done all of these pieces first. So if I was making this, you know, like you will be. The only reason I didn't do these pieces because I wanted to show you how to do them. But if I was just making this box, I would get all of my papers stuck on first before I do anything else. Make sure you don't go over this fold line here. Most important. Right, let's get this one stuck down. Now, if you're doing a directional paper like the Peter Rabbit one, you want to make sure that all of your images, all of your Peter Rabbits, etc., are all facing the same way. So if you have your box like this, you decide that this is the front opening page, this one here, and everything else faces this way. So because my one is not any particular direction, I can turn these any way I want, but I'm going to decide that this one here is the front page. I'm going to have that. So this bird here that I'm sticking on, I'm going to stick down in the same direction, if you understand what I'm saying. I mean, if I stuck it the other way round, it would look odd when you open it. But because this is the front, you know, it doesn't matter. Mine are all non-directional pieces. It doesn't matter. Okay? Right, so I have these pieces now. Now all I need to do is attach these pieces to cover that flap. And again, I'm just going to make sure that they all go in the same direction. This would be a nice gift for a baby shower, because you could make this sort of baby's first year or the pregnancy or something like that, or pictures of that and the journaling, and then you could put a small gift in the top. So that's that one. I'm going to put this one over here. I mean, when you get the kit, if you buy the kit, you'll have all of this cut out and you just arrange it in whatever order you want to. I'm just doing this, I'm just grabbing the next piece, you know, because to me they all go together. It's from the same design pad, so they all go together. This, make sure you don't cover that fold or this fold. Just take your time to line it up carefully. Little tiny gap all the way around the outside. The reason we leave a little tiny gap, if anybody's interested, is not only because it's quite decorative, but also because that's where you're likely to, with use, you're likely to damage the paper. So if you leave a little tiny gap, it's the card, you know, it won't damage the paper, sort of thing. Right, okay, so I'm going to put this little bird here. These are literally so cute, this paper pad. I think it's called I Dream of Spring. Not sure. I have to have a look. Just take off that bit of sticky stuff at the top there. Cover up that. Oh, seagulls are all going mad at the moment. Not that I'm near the coast or anything. Right, let's try and keep this as clean and tidy as I possibly can. Okay, and the last piece. go here. Let's pop that up. Make sure that's nice and tidy and it doesn't go over the score lines. There we go. Right, let me just make sure they all fold up properly. Nothing's in it, you know, in each other's way. Yep, perfect. Lovely. Right, okay, now we can set about sticking the actual pages in. And again, I have already prepped mine. Here they are. There and there. So 1, 2, 3. Let's take out these photo mats because they're in the way at the moment. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So basically it's a case of just sticking them down as you would do a waterfall. So the first one we're going to stick down is this one here. This is the first one, okay? And this piece here, this edge here, is going to go quite tight to the other side of this flap. So there's almost no gap between those two, okay? But that's the only one that's going to look like this. So we glue the outside. Sorry about that, it's the dogs. Obviously somebody just walked past our house. There we go. So we're going to go close to the flap. It might help you to actually hold the flap up. Let's put that out of the way. Hold the flap up and butt this up to it. Obviously not going over the fold piece. Push it down, but lightly. Make sure that it is, so that we can alter it, you know, we make sure that it's straight, which mine isn't, so I'm just going to alter it a little bit. Push this back a little bit and back a little bit there. And make sure it clears it on all sides. 1, 2, 3, that's it, and we're going to stick that down. And that will open up there. And the next piece, take another one of these, glue the outside, and you're just going to continue with this until you've used all your strips, till you've used all your pages. Right, okay, now that is going to butt very tightly up to that last one. Make sure that it's straight, push it back and press it down, and you just keep going basically. It's really, really simple. Make sure this is the right way up, yes. Glue the outside. Butt it up to the previous one. Make sure it's straight and push back. To there. Always double check that you've got it up the right way, just in case. It's not unknown. Certainly not for me anyway. If there's a right way to do something and a wrong way to do it, you can guarantee I'll do it the wrong way first. There we go. Open that up. Pop it on, don't push it down until you have it lined up. Then push it back onto the one behind it. Yuck. So you can see how easy this is. Push this, line it up, push it back. You can see just how easy this is. It's very simple little, but very effective little box. Let's try this one next, butterflies. Line it up. Do you know what? I've made too many of these. That's interesting. Don't need so many. Right, now what you can do, oops, I've got a paper cut on my thumb, my goodness me, does it hurt? I know that Rambo manages to stick his own, sew his own arms back on and things like that, but paper cuts floored me. Now what you can do here is you can use this piece of card and cover it in the same way that you did these, so that it's sort of like that, and you can put that here if you want to, and that gives you the same end here as it's got here, so that's quite close up to this part of the box if you'd like to. Oh, itchy eye. I don't think I've got enough papers left to do it, but I'm going to I will do this actually, even though mine doesn't have the papers on it. I'm going to put, so actually I've got 2 spare ones here, so I've got too many. Hold on. So the pages, to cut the pages, you only need 7, you don't need 9, because this is 8 and 9. Now I'm just going to pop this in here. Imagine, if you will, that this is covered, and that, you will see, will fit exactly in there. Get rid of that bit of glue there. Make sure that's straight. It is, and push that down, so that these you would cover now in exactly the same way that you've covered these. So you would make this a flap by putting, I don't have a spare one unfortunately. That's unfortunate, but you would put a flap on there like that. You put the flap on there like that, so that you've got that bit, and on the back you would put the pocket. Okay, I don't have enough papers. I've cut 9 of these, and I've put 9 in that thingy, the list, and you don't need 9. You only need, hold on, that's the side of the box, so you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 instead of 9, because this is 8 and 9. So you have 9 internal pages in total. Right, okay, hopefully that's made sense, and I have made my mistake that I always make a mistake in one of the videos. Can't find the lid for my glue. Oh, goodness me, how annoying. Okay, I'll just have to hope and pray that it doesn't dry up. Right, so when you've done that, you've completed that, that will all come together. Pop that down there. That will all come together. That's your sides. Go in there. Whoops. Don't go completely in there. Go in there. That's a fiddle to hold it together. There. And fold that side up. And hold this side up. And now all we need is a lid to hold it all together. Okay? Because this is how it is inside. This is what it looks like inside. So let's pop this out of the way. The lid is extremely, extremely simple. So you have your lid like this that we've scored at 1 inch all the way round. And all you need to do is to, on one side here, cut up the score line until you get to the centre of the other score line. And then on this little flap here, cut that score line off and in a wedge shape, just tiny like that, just so that you have a mitre. Then turn it round 90 degrees, do exactly the same thing, cut up till you reach there and cut that score line out. Turn it 90 degrees and do that on all 4 sides. There we go, and the last side. Get rid of that bit there. Then you can fold along your score lines and burnish them very well, making sure that you have this straight along this edge here. Burnish it very well. And do that all the way round. If you make sure that all of your edges are straight, you'll have no problem with your lid. So make sure that that's straight, and make sure that that is straight along that edge there, and you'll have no problems with your lid. There, fold that up straight there. Now all that you need to do is just assemble it like this, making sure that all your corners line up. So we'll pop a bit of glue on here. Hold that in place, make sure that that side edge lines up perfectly at the top and that you have a nice squared off edge here. You may have to push it back and manipulate it a bit. I'm going to put a peg on mine to hold it. There we go, and you just do the same thing on every corner. There we go. Put your glue to the outside edges. Fold that up. There we go. And this one. Fold that up, making sure that all your corners are nice and square. So all of your corners are nice and square, no problems. just let that dry for a moment whilst you sort out your pieces that you're going to put on the sides. Now, if you wanted to just make an explosion box and you didn't want to make the gift box bit on the top, basically all you have to do now is cover this and that's it, done. Okay. If on the other hand you want to do like I'm doing, then you need to cut these pieces here, which I said were, let me look, I'm looking on this, 4 1/4 by, I think mine are, where's my ruler, 4 1/4 by, mine are 1 3/4, and then I die cut the top, but I'll add that to the measurements. Okay, so once this has started to set up, we can remove our clamps, pegs, etc., and we simply stick these pieces on so they come to the bottom and they overlap the top a bit. So actually I think I will glue the sides of the lid. Ooh, that was my elbow. Did you hear that clonk? And you stick this on. And there we go. Now mine are overlapping a little bit, yours may too, so you just need to just trim them. Put a couple of pegs on that to hold it while I'm doing the next one. 2, 3. So you line the bottom of this up, this edge here, with the bottom of the lid. And push that up there. I've given you the measurement to make it just a little bit too big so that you trim it, so that you can actually push it right up to the other piece here. And then you can trim this piece as you like. Let me just put some pegs on there, if I have enough pegs. Yep, here's another one. And it just depends on the size of your die, whether or not you need to trim it. So I'm just going to trim this edge a little bit. Oops, hands are a bit shaky. There we go. Trim that nice and neatly. And I might as well trim this one as well while I'm at it. Just trim it level with the, you know, the side of your box lid. Glue to the box lid. Here and here. So I filled mine. I have a grass die, and I just did lots of die cuts of this grass. Make sure that that comes right up to the end. But if you don't have a grass die, you can always just take some green paper and fringe the edge of it. And that will give you the grass-like effect to go around the outside, you know, to go around the outside of this in here, like this, to give you that grass. And then if you cover this with a green paper, that's the makings of your garden. Right, now this one here, I'm going to just measure it up. And actually that doesn't need trimming, because if you can see, it's not only the width of the box lid, but it's also this piece here and this piece here. So that's why I got you to cut them at that size. make sure that you're putting this with the, you know, the die cut bit should come above the top of the lid. Make sure you've got it the right way up. So that's the inside of your box, and these should stick up on the outside. It's an easy mistake to make, so just be aware of what you're doing, so that it doesn't, you don't end up with it hanging down the side of the box instead of standing up on the lid of the box, which is what you actually want. Right, let's move my pegs. One there, one there, one there, and then onto this side, and here, here, and here for a moment. Now at this point here, I think I probably put this aside for a little while and actually stamped all my picture mats, just to let it set up for a bit. But I don't need to do that, so I'm going to take my handle. I'm going to find the pieces of cardstock DSP that I cut for the handle, she says. She said, for the lid I mean, not the handle. No, it's not. Oh, it might be that piece. There's these pieces. I've cut 4 just in case. And like I say, at this point you can either just cover that side, or you can do what I'm going to do and slightly wrap it round. So while that's setting up, I'm going to start, and the best way to do this actually is to make sure that you have a fairly nondescript paper here, so that it doesn't matter, you can sort of match it up, you know. Now I'm going to start a little bit away from the edge. I don't want it to come right on the edge, so I'm going to glue this The idea is that it reinforces the corners, so I don't want to start on a corner, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to start about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch away from a corner, and then I'm just going to stick this down level with the bottom, like that. Press it down, pinch it, and really tightly pinch it there in that corner. And then I'm going to apply glue here, and we will see how many strips. These are 6-inch strips that I've used here, like I said. So I don't know if it will take 3 or it might take 4, we'll see. But there's plenty on a 6x6 pad to be able to do it. Right, so that's that one. We'll stick the next one up to it. And I prefer to just butt it up. Like that. Not going to overlap it. Then I'm going to apply glue along here. I do hope you're able to see this and it's in frame. Wouldn't it be awful if I did this whole box and it wasn't even in frame? Good grief, done that before. Right, take that up to the edge. Make sure that it fits all the way round. There we go. That must be set up now. Add some glue. And glue here. And another piece of this, starting here. Pinch that to make it a really nice corner. Got glue all over my fingers. Disgusting. And then, yes, it just takes 3. In fact, I don't think it took 3 pieces. Might have taken 2. 2 or 3 anyway. and then you just pinch the corner, and I'm going to trim mine so that it just comes, maybe just slightly overlaps. So I'm going to trim mine to about there. And then I just need to glue this and stick it down firmly. That's the outside edge of my box covered. Now at this point you might want to put your grass and whatever other else pieces, bits and pieces that you want to in there. That's probably the easiest way to do it. And if you look at this one, I just did, the way that I did these pieces to stand up, I fussy cut out a picture. I glued it onto quite strong cardstock and then fussy cut it again, so I had quite a hard piece, a firm piece, and then I made it stand up by making up one of those little, let me see if I can find a scrap of card like that. It doesn't need to be too big. Let's get rid of these. And basically you just form it into a square. So I folded it maybe about here, and then folded it again about there. Hold on, that's there. Make sure it was lined up. You don't have to be too precise about this. It's just how you would do a pop-up card actually. And then folded it again about there. It doesn't even have to come together as a perfect cube, you know, as long as it's roughly a square, then you'll be fine. And fold about there, make sure the edges, and trim it off so that it has like a little tail. So basically you have a piece that's about, I don't know, 1/2 inch wide. Is that about 1/2 inch wide? And you are able to get 1, 2, 3, 4 folds and a little bit hanging over the end. And then you simply fold it up like that to make a box out of it. Stick that bit down there. That's your overlap piece. Stick it down so it forms a little box like that. See, hopefully you can see that. Formed a little box. And then you stick your die cut piece to the front. Say that you have that underneath. Try and aim for that to be underneath. You stick your die cut piece to the front, put some glue on the bottom, and then you can place your die cut to stand up anywhere on here that you want. You can put it into the corner like I've done with mine here, or you can put it in the middle if you want to. Put it up against the side, wherever you want, okay? And you will have a stand-up die cut piece. I cut all my foliage out for this one, and I'm sure you can spot the deliberate sort of mistake, and that is that I only cut it out one piece of card thick, and then when I added the ink to it, because I cut them out white, and when I added the ink to it, they became very sort of floppy. So what I would do in future, and what I would do in the kits for this one here, is I'll cut several of these and you just glue them all together to give them some thickness and some strength, and then I just stuck them in pieces, you know, sort of around the edges. I don't know if you can see the grass. I don't know if you can see the grass die cut here that I put all around the edges, taller pieces here. But like I say, you can just get a piece of cardstock that's the same height as you want it, that sticks up above there, a bit of green, and then just simply snip it finely, snip bits out of it or whatever, and you have your you have a good simulation of grass. Then just put flowers, etc. on there. Right, let's put that one out of the way. So we have this now, and you can either do it at this point or you can do it before you stick this paper on. I'm going to put the handle on. So here's my handle piece. I'm not going to punch the sides of mine because this is that £300 card and the punches just won't go through it, unfortunately. That's why I had to die cut this. But anyway, so you can put this on, the handle on, before you put this paper and then cover the whole thing, including the handle. Or you can do it this way, which is, you know, just as good. And that is, you take your piece of cardstock, we start to break the fibres by running our bone folder along it from centre to sides, like that. And then we simply locate the two sides here and here and glue it down like that. Now I'm happy with that because I'm going to be covering it with a ribbon bow. So I'm going to put ribbon then across the top here. I'm going to put a nice bow, probably some dangly bits, and I'm quite happy with that. Okay, but you can, as I say, stick this down first and then cover the whole thing with this if you prefer. But for me, I'm good with this. That's okay with me. So I'm going to apply some glue here. Oops, sorry. Hopefully you can still see me. I'm fortunate in that I lined up my die first, so it's exactly in the centre. But if you've got a straight edge die or something like that, then measure your centre first. Pop on your handle like that. Let that set up and dry. You can still see the beautiful pattern and the dip of it from the inside. You just can't see it from the outside on mine. And then I'm going to stick the other piece, the other end. Put it on here. Doesn't matter if you glue the handle or the box really. Centre it up. Ooh. Spot the deliberate mistake again, goodness me. I nearly had a curved handle going across there. That would have been unique, wouldn't it? Oh God, what am I like? Right, okay. Ah, there's the lid of my glue, so I can save it. I'm lucky it held out as long as it did. I thought it was going to give in. Pop that upside down in there, and then like I say, it's just up to you to put some little flowers in. I think my handle's going to need a little dab of glue here as well to stick it. Hold on, oops. So let's just put some glue on the actual die cut here and there. Hold that together. And the same on the other side. Obviously I'll post some pictures of the finished item up so that you can see what it's like when it's all been decorated. Just hold that together. But I won't bore you with decorating it during the video. You get the idea, and everybody's ideas about decorating is completely unique. So I will need to alter my cut list to say 9 of those pockets, to say 7 instead of 9. I did 9 and I don't need these 2, so these will do for another project that I'll make. Okay, now all we have to do is put our fingers crossed and hope that the whole thing closes up. So let's bring it back. At the moment it doesn't have the picture mats in it and it doesn't have this piece finished, but this will look exactly like that. Let's put all our sides up, all our sides. Choose which is going to be the front because we have all the pictures facing that way. Hold on. She says, and all of mine are kind of could go anyway, really. Let's have a look, see if there is a definite front for mine. Yeah, because that little bird is coming down, so I'll take this as being the right way round. I'll take this as being the front. Catch that up with that. And there. These are always fiddly to get up. You need kind of another hand, don't you? And that lid does and will fit perfectly on there, holds it all together. And that, my friends, is your little Easter gift box. And you only need to put, depending on how much die cutting and how much sort of flowers and things you like that you put on the top, you only need one little bag of these Easter eggs. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is that when you cut all of this out, this paper out, even given the fact that I've used quite a bit on these pieces here, like this, and these came out of that same pad, so you will have those pieces over, because obviously you won't need them on there. And also the front of the pad, you know where you get those little tiny snippet pictures of what's actually inside the pad? I do like to use those. So what you can do, and you have all of this lot over, this is all still out of the same 6-inch pad. You have all of this lot over. So I like to maybe round the corners off. Let's just see, I'll try with, say I'll use this one here. And you can do it with these as well. If you like round the corners off, excuse me a moment, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can stick them to your picture mat if you want to, make that very decorative. And if you only stick it on 2 sides, like that and like that, when you put it down, you can slip a picture or a tag or something like that underneath. And as you can see, there really are ample pieces left over. You could use them as little journaling notes. For the Peter Rabbit one, there were dedicated pieces that came as part of the printout, so I simply printed them out. So these parts here, these little tags and that, were all part of the actual printout, so I just simply cut them out. But we obviously, because this is a paper pad, we didn't have that. See, these little tickets and things like that. So, you know, you could stamp a picture on those picture mats, or you could add some of your little bits and pieces here that are left over. So on here, where I used plain paper, so that's another thing you can do. Where you use plain paper behind the pockets here, you can also add, you know, one of these. These are the bits that I've cut out from the front of the pad that's got, you know, that's a snippet of what the pages are like. So you could put that on there. You could actually put it on the top of here and make it as a tag, a pull tag. But, you know, don't waste them, sort of thing, you know. So that would, you know, that would look nice on there. Or if you have a plainish sheet here, it would look nice if you added that, maybe round the corners a bit, whatever you want to do. Okay, well, I hope that's given you some good ideas. And like I say, this is actually the April project, but I'm posting it today because Easter is the 4th, I believe, of April, which is very, very early on in April. So let's stand these up. So that's all I did with these pieces here. These were parts of the paper that were left over. I punched them out into a circle, which you could easily punch a circle out here, out of these bigger ones. I put them on a different colour background, and these ones are little cabochons that I stuck on top, but you could quite easily do that with glossy accents. And yeah, just pop them up on dimensionals and decorate the front of the box. Just a word of caution, if you are going to put those onto the front of your box and you want to centre them up, measure it when you've got the lid on so that you have them centre between the bottom of the lid and the bottom of the box. If you measure it without the lid on, they will be under, you know, the centre will be up here and you won't be able to see them. So just make sure that you put the lid on first. Right, okay, so that's that. I have this piece here that needs to have been stuck on there. Whoops, lost all my sweeties. That needs to have been stuck on there, and that's our two projects for this month. So I do have kits available, have quite a few kits available actually. So if you want one, please do message me and I will pop one in the post for you. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.